All right, let's see how these seedlings did in the cold weather. Uh-oh. So what we have is an unheated hoop house. It's just one layer of 6 mil plastic. And I also had these seedlings under this other little hoop house deal here, little garden cover, whatever you want to call it, cold frame. And I tried to experiment with getting these seeds out here so they could get some good sunlight. I started these in the house, and look at what happened. We got our zucchinis here. This one is definitely dead. Some of the ones that were coming up, they look like they may have died also. The stems are looking clear here. You can see that looks like it may have frozen. Same with this one. So we'll see if those ones continue to grow today. Some of these that were covered by the soil look like they may have made it. This one coming up. These ones definitely didn't. A couple here, that one may not have made it either. That one's definitely dead. So we lost quite a few zucchinis. Same with these. Now the reason I brought zucchini out here is because they grow really fast and you don't really need to start them quite this early anyway, and so I can replant those with no issue. But I did bring a tomato tray out here also, and look at that, are all dead. This one I just brought out today. This one came from inside the house, but this one was out here in the greenhouse, and almost all those tomatoes are dead. So 2 nights ago I put the tray of the zucchinis out here and a tray of this is broccoli right here, to see how they would do. The first night it got down to about 28 degrees and everything did fine in here. These zucchinis were doing fine the next day, and so were the broccoli. No issues at all. The next night it got down to about 26, and I had brought in a couple more zucchinis out thinking, all right, we'll test a little further, and I brought out that tray of tomatoes. That's 72 tomato plants right there. A couple degrees difference made all the difference. There wasn't enough heat in here. Things froze. I could tell when I came out first thing this morning that the stems had actually frozen and the leaves were frozen. There was frost on them, and so that killed them all. Some of the broccolis seem like they did okay. They seem like they made it through. I see 1 or 2 here that taller ones that didn't make it, and you know what, that's probably okay anyway because I didn't want the taller ones. The cauliflower that I brought out, a lot of the taller ones here didn't make it either. Stems froze. You can see they fell right over, and so we'll have to pluck some of those out. So with the weather growing warmer here, I think that I'll probably be okay, but I'm gonna take some extra precautions with some heat out here. Just some little electric heaters in the area, or maybe heat lamps right in the area of these seedlings to help protect them through the coldest part of the nights. All we got to do is just keep them above freezing. If I can keep it in the 30s in here, it'll be totally fine. This year we just weren't prepared as far as, you know, getting this whole greenhouse heated. I have the maple syrup evaporator in here, but that leaks a lot of smoke and I can't really run that with the doors closed. So I can't use that to heat the greenhouse like I had intended originally. You know, if I have to open the door and the fans on and everything, it just blows cold air in here and I might as well be outside anyway. I do plan on getting a wood stove in here, and I do plan on doing a lot of different things as far as solar collecting with barrels and tubing and some circulating pumps, and I've got all kinds of plans for next year on how to do this better, but there's only so much time. So what we have to do for this year, and if you watched our original plan, we want to try to sell some of these seedlings, although that plan is slipping further and further away here. We still do have quite a few plants that are going to be okay. So what I'd like to do is get these out here in the full sun, get the heat in here. It's nice and warm out here today, and so let's go ahead and recover and replant some of these, get these replanted right away, and try to get the other ones protected so that they'll make it through the next few nights. Hopefully it doesn't drop below freezing anyway. Looks like the weather forecast for about 32 degrees tonight, but I can't trust the weather, so we're gonna come up with a contingency here. So you can see these ones here, they're all reaching for where they were near the window. They're reaching for the sunlight, and a lot of them are actually too tall. So a few of these we may have to clip off and plant a new one here. But a lot of these are perfect. So these are the ones that just sprouted through. They'll straighten right up, and these ones are gonna grow fine. I'm not gonna thin these out yet. I'll wait a few more days and we'll get the healthiest plants out of here and see where we're at. Now this one here, the one that stayed outside in the greenhouse, these are all pretty much dead. The stuff you see in here, these are mostly weeds and other things that are just part of our compost mix. So those can all be kind of plucked out. I don't see any tomato seedlings in here that made it, so we're gonna just replant. Oh, maybe one. Yeah, that one right there looks like a tomato. We'll leave that one in there. Must be a tough one. So we'll go ahead and just replant here. These will probably end up just being for our garden use, which is fine. And then the other tray of Romas, 72 Romas that we had, we'll hopefully get those ones at least. No, it'd be nice to get 6-inch plants in the next 2 weeks. If I can get 6-inch plants in the next 2 weeks, even really 4 weeks until our biggest sale weekend, Memorial Day. It's about 5 weeks away. So I still have time. We still have some time left to recover from some of these things here. Worst case scenario, we're gonna have a heck of a garden to plant ourselves, so that's okay too. If nobody buys any seedlings, if we don't have any good ones to sell, well, that's okay. Every year we'll get better. We'll get better at this. We'll have more infrastructure in place. The greenhouse will be all set to be heated next year. So I'll show you what I'm doing to make temporary labels for these. I've done this before in my seed starting videos, but sour cream container lids, cottage cheese, whatever, any plastic container, butter, whatever you have, you can use the sides of the container, and then this is the lid. So I just cut that part of the lid out. This plastic works great for this kinds of thing. And then we're just gonna make little, you can make them as fancy as you want to, curve the tops all nice and straight or whatever, but I just need something that will not wash off when I get it wet, that I can keep track of these seedlings. So Aromas, these are ones that we bought last year, so Livingston seed. So we'll put what kind of seed it was, and I save the packets and take pictures of the back, and when we, if we get enough to sell here, we'll provide this information to each customer that purchases a 6-pack of these. They'll be able to get the instructions for how to plant it. So I want to keep track of that. So we'll just put this in this tray anywhere. If there's only one tag in the tray, that means the whole thing is the same. And so that one is done. So let's go get some of these zucchinis replanted and labeled as well. Yeah, look at that. That's a good healthy seedling too. That's a bummer. Well, that certainly is one solution. Does that look safe? I don't know. Let's hope the heat lamp doesn't fall down in the middle of the night, right? It's tied on there pretty good. It's hung by the cord and by the twine, and there's no wind or anything in here, so we should be good. So the plan is the heat lamp, the screen is not really hot, but the heat is radiating off those seed trays right in there. You can see they're all steamed up. And I'm hoping that it will trap a lot of that heat in there, and it'll just kind of hang out inside the grow tunnel and keep that at least from, it doesn't have to be 80 degrees at night, but as long as it doesn't drop below 32, 33 degrees, I think it should be fine. So we'll hope that will do pretty well for us tonight. And obviously throughout the next couple weeks, this will be the plan. In the morning I'll come out and I'll open this up, take all the lids off, water everything, and let it sit out in the sun and get nice and warm and sunny. And then at nighttime I'll cover them back up and keep them nice and safe in here. So hopefully this will work, otherwise we'll have lost a lot of seedlings. Well, it's definitely been a lot more challenging than I expected to grow these seedlings in here. This is my first time I ever had a greenhouse or hoop house like this, and I half expected it to hold a little more heat overnight. And I tell you what, a couple hours after dark and this thing is dropped down to same temperatures outside. It doesn't really hold any heat at all. This thin plastic just, you know, heat just gets right out of here. So we'll definitely have to devise some heat sinks in here and some ways to retain heat. I'd like to use solar energy as much as possible, and of course wood burning is kind of a backup or supplement on the coldest days. We really need to get a system in place here where we can start seeds way earlier. I'd like to be able to start seeds in February and have some nice tall healthy thick plants to sell and to start our gardens with. So that'll be the plan, and we'll work towards that next year, obviously. This is a temporary fix, but hopefully this will get us by this season. So I will let you guys know on the next video how things did out here. The next gardening video we do, I'll probably give you guys an update in a week or two, and we'll see what happens with this. So I'll let you know how things have been working out and if we've made any adjustments or not. But as always, guys, I'd love to see you on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Website sslfamilyfarm.com. Subscribe if you'd like to follow along. You know what to do. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.